Right, right. Hello? I'm saying hello like I'm picking up the phone or something. This is early in the morning, so my brain is probably not at you know, at see, I can't even find the words to say. My brain's not 100% yet. And it's not early in the morning, but I woke up not too long ago because I do stay up very late and I do work towards the evening most days. So if I do wake up early on some days, I don't always stay up for very long unless I have something that I need to focus on. But anyway, I kind of want to get into this because this is something that actually I wasn't really aware of because I don't pay as much attention to football as I once did, right? The more I see, certain inconsistencies, with refereeing decisions, inconsistencies with, double standards and how certain players are treated and how other players are not treated in that same way, it kind of makes me wonder sometimes, like, why is it that I support, this sport? When I look at sports like the NBA, right? Like and much respect to the NBA and Adam Silver and everybody that's involved with the NBA. I don't see racism in the NBA. I just don't. I don't see it. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist, but it's definitely something that I just don't see when it comes to the NBA, right? I'm sure like back in the days, people have a thing or two to say about certain fans, like Boston fans, and how intense they were to players of color and this, that, and the third. But certainly on an international stage, right? Like when you sort of go over to like the Europe, and it's not to say that America is any more or less has any more or less racism than certain countries in Europe. But, you know, sports is supposed to be somewhat of a safe space, right? Sports is supposed to be a place where people are, safe to sort of, players are safe to, this guy with the United stuff. Big up yourself, man. I'm not going to say big up to United, but big up to the real Jamaican Mark Haley. Um, Hello, how you doing? Meet Anna. How you doing? So sports is supposed to be a safe place for people to sort of express themselves. You know, express themselves through the art. Express themselves by, performing well out there, and people are supposed to cheer them on. And of course, other opposing fans are not necessarily going to be happy with if their team is not winning, right? But at the same time, it shouldn't be something where your darkest, the nastiest part of yourself is what you choose to express. And the crazy part about this is this, right? So Lamine Yamal is actually 17, right? Lamine Yamal is 17 years old. Lamine Yamal is responsible for it, the most responsible for, because of course it's a team sport, but he's most responsible for the win, the European Championship win over the summer. Like, I tuned into most of Spain's games, not all of them, and I think they were undefeated, as a matter of fact, if my memory serves me right. I remember having a conversation with a young lady from Spain, and I'm like, yeah, Spain's gonna win. 100% Spain is going to win. You just knew that Spain was gonna win based on the heroics of Lamine Yamal, 17 years old. Actually, as a matter of fact, he turned 17 during the Euro. Was it the final? Or maybe a week before the final, if I'm not mistaken. But at some time, like, he was 16 and then he turned 17, like over the summer, literally. But for a player to, on one hand, play a pivotal role, as a matter of fact, probably He probably played the biggest role, right, in Spain winning the European Championship, and could have went down as the player of the tournament. However, I believe they gave the player of the tournament to Rodri, if I'm not mistaken. It was someone else from the Spanish team, but he got the young player of the tournament. Me personally, I thought he was the player of the tournament. Right, I couldn't wait to go see what Lamine Yamal was, what he was gonna do out there on the pitch, right? And I was rooting for the kid. I did. I rooted for him. I really wanted him. I really wanted to see him succeed. How you doing, Sarah? Sarah's in the house. How you doing? Someone says Jake Paul or Mike Tyson. Who do you think is gonna win? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna watch it. Mike Tyson is far past his prime. I do think Mike Tyson does have some. He's still a decent athlete, but at the same time, we haven't seen Mike Tyson at his best for a very long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, Jake Paul is what, 20 something, maybe like early 30s. I don't know, but Jake Paul is somewhat in the physical prime of his life. Mike Tyson has been far past his prime. Mike Tyson is past his prime since I was like in middle school. Maybe even before that. So, I mean, everybody loves Mike Tyson, but I just don't see Mike Tyson winning this. I don't want to lie to myself about it. I just don't see Mike Tyson winning this. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I'm great, thanks. I just updated my phone and everything has moved and changed. It's taking a while to type. How are you, Sarah? I cannot complain. I'm off today. I'm gonna stay home. I got my MacBook ready. I'm really trying to figure out how to work this thing because I'm not gonna be doing too much as much live content as I did before, but now I got to get my video editing skills up. So now it's almost like I have to like sort of like learn a new skill in a way, in which I have some experience, but not much. But I'm glad you updated your phone, right? Did you get like the new iPhone? But not the new one didn't come out yet, did it? It might have. I don't know what iPhone we're on. I think I got the 15. I'm not upgrading anything. I got the 15, but I like I haven't really been paying attention to that stuff, because I'm sure the iPhone usually comes out like what, September, October sort of thing. So it probably did come out, but I'm just completely oblivious to it. I did not know it came out or not. Bro, only responding to Sarah, says Hassan. It's Hassan. That's because Sarah's more important than you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Hassan. I'm kidding. You do great with editing. Mine is the iPhone XS Max, which is, I think, is the 10 or 11. Yeah, I think the last iPhone that I had before this was actually the 11. As a matter of fact, I have a spare one somewhere in here. So like I had two 11s. One of them, the screen was just cracked beyond belief. And I didn't even get the opportunity to return it, which really sucked. I did the iOS 18 update. Oh, is that what it is? I didn't get an update from my phone. Hassan says, "Hey, yo, bro, be wildin' for real." Hassan, I was kidding, man. Relax. Don't take it personal, right? We're talking about Lamine Yamal right now. So on one hand, one thing that I did see is, like the entire world wanted to see Lamine Yamal, right? The entire world wants to see this wonder kid, and we haven't seen anything like it since. You would say Neymar, but Neymar kind of like when he was 17, he was like in Brazil, right? But who else? Those heroics were Mbappe. When Mbappe was 17, Mbappe was winning the World Cup. Mbappe was the best player in the World Cup competition. So now Mbappe, this new Mbappe, I don't really recognize him, and I kind of saw shades of it during the Euro that Mbappe kind of either his head's not in the game or something's just kind of off about Mbappe. But he's not the same player that we knew that helped France to win the World Cup, and that helped, he did so much heroics for the French team and on the international level and at Monaco and at PSG. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Lamine Yamal, you know, just his all around game, right? Like his all around game and just how smart he is and how he's able to pick a pass and how he has this incredible finesse shot, and just how smart he is as a player, right? He can dribble past a guy. He could do practically anything out there on the football field, right? So you see a player like that and you say, man, that kid is heading places. This kid is going to go down as one of the best if he's consistent. If he keeps his head in the game, the limit is beyond the skies where it comes to this guy, right? And then you fast forward, right? So he wins the Euros for his team, right? So Spain wins the Euros. Spain is now the European champion. And everybody's applauding. Everybody's happy. Yay, Lamine Yamal. Yay. Great player. All of those things, right? And then you fast forward just a few months. What's November? This is what, July, August, September, October, November. 4 months, right? You fast forward 4 months. And the same player that everyone was applauding, that everyone thought was just did a fantastic job, that everyone said to themselves, this player right here, well, most people anyway, of course you're going to have rival fans that don't like him or whatever it is, but this is the same player that everyone was saying, that most people were saying is going to be the next great player, right? I don't want to compare him too much to other people, right? Because he's not Mbappe, he's not Messi, he's Lamine Yamal. And then for him to be abused, right, in this way by people who he actually helped to make champions, right? Because the team that they support is not winning. Or because coupled with the fact that he's such a brilliant player. So for me, like I said before, when I do turn on the NBA, I don't have to deal with that. I don't see the racism coming from the NBA. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I don't see it coming from the NBA. Right? When I look at Spanish football, it's something that occurs so often. It is ridiculous. The same thing could be said about other places in Europe as well. But Spain seems to be the place where it's the most dominant. Now, other places it's a little bit more concealed, but it still goes on in other places as well. And it's rather unfortunate because Lamine Yamal, regardless of if he is the best player, if he's not the best player in the world, personally, I think he is definitely one of the best players in the world. He could be the best player in the world, right? But regardless of if he is or if he wasn't, when players go out there, when they put on their boots, they put on their socks, they put on their boots, they put on that jersey, and they go out there with one thing in mind, and that's to play football. And in playing football and expressing themselves and entertaining the crowd and somewhat giving people a level of joy, right, that you may not normally get from your everyday life. But it's really distasteful when you see a player, right, and all they're doing is playing football. This is it. They're just playing football. This is all they want to do is play football. They just want to play the sport. And in playing the sport, they're subjected to this sort of behavior. But anyway, I'm going to get into this video that I sort of was watching. Hold on, let me see if I could kind of find this video. I think this is it. Yep. Okay. And, for news purposes, let's get into it.
Now, football fans have a habit of questioning a player's allegiance and dedication towards their country. But when it comes to celebrating a national hero, many fans seem to conveniently forget national pride. It is overshadowed by club sentiments, and when I say sentiments, I'm putting it very mildly. It's almost jingoistic. In another horrendous episode in Spain, their rising sensation Lamine Yamal was racially abused during the Real Madrid clash at Bernabeu. He, along with Rafinha and Ansu Fati, were targeted in their game. Well, Fati.
Rafinha and Ansu Fati. I believe Ansu Fati is also Spanish as well, but he's black. Rafinha is Brazilian. But of course, right? These are like black players, right? And it's really unfortunate because these are young men. Again, Lamine Yamal is 17. I don't know how old Rafinha is, and I think Ansu Fati's he's definitely in his early 20s. I don't quite remember how old he is, but Ansu Fati was he was a prodigy as well. Like he was one of those players that you kind of looked at and you figured the limit was beyond the sky for this kid as well. And then injuries and other things kind of happened, and I guess he lost a yard of pace, but he's not quite the same player that he once was before. But either way, he's back at Barcelona and he's trying to wait, he's trying to make a name for himself all over again. I once didn't shower for a week. My skin felt sticky. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, so the racism that's plaguing football, man. I would personally, I would want to know what's the solution for this. Because you can't stop people from being who they are, right? But at the same time, if this is who you are at your home among your friends, that's who you are at home among your friends, right? This is your friend group, and this is what you guys is acceptable for you guys, right? But when you're watching a game with other people of different races, other people with different backgrounds, other people that are different from you, right? Why do you feel the need to express the most nasty aspect of yourself? Why do you feel the need to project your racial bias and your hatred towards a 17-year-old who some may say is the best player in the world? Why is that? Why does an adult male, feel the need to speak to a child in this way? And even if he was an adult, why do you feel the need to do that? Again, people are going to be who they are, right? Behind the scenes. You can't stop people from being who they are or having their beliefs, whatever those beliefs are, however they've been programmed. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But if you want to keep that belief, right, among your friends and among your fans, this is not nothing, we're not condoning this. We'll never sit up here and condone that sort of behavior among any group of people. But people are going to talk how they talk among their friends. And people are going to try to talk down on other people to make themselves feel better about themselves. That's just what it is. But why do you feel the need to go to a football game and racially abuse a 17-year-old? I'll never understand this. Aram, I hope I'm saying your name right. Rathore says, I think there's no solution. It's sport, audience are there to distract you. You should be mentally strong and ignore their ests answer them by your game. So this isn't a matter of answering them by their game because Lamine Yamal actually scored and he did very, very well during that game. So this is not a matter of answering them by their the game because I believe that score was like 4-1 or 4-0. So Barcelona actually destroyed Real Madrid. I actually watched the game. Barcelona actually destroyed Real Madrid. Real Madrid had plenty of chances. Mbappe had chances. Vinny Jr. had chances that they just kept missing. Barcelona were clinical, and Barcelona punished Real Madrid. So this is not a matter of answering by your game because he answered by his game. He played his game, and his team won the game by 4 goals to, I believe, nil or 4 goals to 1. Let me actually look it up. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Right. So it was 4-0. It was actually 4-0. And Lamine Yamal scored in the 77th minute. Rafinha also scored in the 84th minute. So two of those players that were being racially abused actually did answer through their game. So this is one of those things where it's like this. All right, cool. Like I said, people are gonna say what it is that they feel like they what they need to say in the comfort of their own home. When you do things like that and you say things like that, right, as fans, because we all know how extreme football players and football fans could be, right? It sort of plants the seed that these things are okay, right? So I don't agree with you saying, oh, yeah, players could, fans could do this or they could say this or whatever. You can't, right? Because what that does is that opens the door for it not to be only verbal abuse, it now becomes something where it becomes physical. You get me? We've seen it before. Plenty of times. We've seen people jump out and, they run onto the pitch and they storm and they run after a player. We've seen it plenty of times. We've seen some people do it to take pictures. We've seen some people do it to attack players. And now what if that chant is something that's just so, people aren't thinking, they're thinking with their emotion and, it's something that gets so intense, you're yelling all of this stuff and then a group of people decide that they're going to storm the pitch now and just attack players. What happens at that point? So you saying, oh, just answer through your game. No. That's not how these things work. You have to eradicate that from its source. You absolutely have to stop it before it gets out of hand. Because if it gets out of hand, they're not going to just be verbally abusing these players. They're going to start to physically abuse these players as well. Because it's okay for it to happen. So absolutely those fans, 100%, they should be punished. They should be banned. They never should be able to watch a live football game in the stands ever again. They should be banned from that stadium for life. This is the way that you actually put a stop to it. Again, you can't change them for being who they are. Once you leave the stadium and you go home and you guys want to talk all that racist BS, that's on you. But you see, while you're here, you're going to conduct yourself like a civilized human being among other players that are expressing themselves as well. That's the way how I see it. You wouldn't like it if someone was doing that to you, would you? You wouldn't like it if you were in the minority in a stadium or any sort of stadium, right? And a bunch of people from a different ethnic group or a different racial group were yelling all sorts of explicits and nasty racial slurs at you as well. You wouldn't like it. So this isn't anything that you could put a Band-Aid over. This isn't something where you're like, oh, people are going to be people. Oh, just let them be. No. Mm-mm. That sort of behavior, right? just opens the door and lets in more degenerate behavior. That's what it does. Terrence B, what's good, my guy? What's happening, Terrence B? Good to see you, my man. What is happening, bruh? I went from 4-0 to attacking. It went from 4-0 to attacking players. I'm so lost. Yeah. Look. If look, me personally, if I'm watching a game and my team's losing, if the referee is having a terrible performance, what I might do is I might say something about the referee. And look, the referee called that call, and I might be mad. I might be pissed off, right? There's no qualms about it. It just might happen that way. But I'm not gonna sit up here and attack the players, right? I'm not gonna sit up here and say, oh, he scored. Oh, I hate him. Nah, he's doing his job. That's what he's supposed to do. They're supposed to ball out. Now, if he's balling out and just being a complete, you know what, to one of my players, I may feel some sort of way. Like, look at this idiot. Look at this guy. What's he doing? Right? You think I'm going to sit up there and try to racially abuse somebody? Not in this lifetime. You understand me? Not in this lifetime. As a matter of fact, I look at a lot of things as part of the game. Yes, the game's going to be intense. Yes, players are going to get into each other's faces. Yes, there's going to be pushing and shoving. Those things are part of the game when it comes to those players being out there and the intensity, right? Especially when, your adrenaline is just, you have the adrenaline rush, the fight or flight response, all of that sort of stuff. You're there and it's intense. It gets intense. But what gives you the right to do that sort of stuff? I'll never understand it. I won't even try to understand it, to be completely honest with you. You know what I mean? I won't. You could say anything about a player, right? And then sometimes you may even disguise your racism, right? You may even disguise your racism and say something else about him, right? But to racially abuse these players, that's the lowest of the low. Especially the fact that this guy is the reason why Spain are the European champions. Right? So he's a national hero. Especially the fact that he is 17 years old. You can't make this stuff up. He's 17 years old. So you're going to try to make excuses for that? You're going to try to make excuses for people now? Oh, he should just get on with the game. Just get on with the game. Oh, just take the racial abuse and just get on with the game. His team won 4-0. This is not about getting on with the game. They won the game. The game was won. He scored. Rafinha scored. These are two players that were being racially abused. They both scored. And their team won. So this isn't one of those things where we're talking about it after a loss or saying that this is something that affected the game in a negative way to where the players lost their head and the players didn't win. It did affect the game in a negative way, but not to that extent where they didn't win the game. So they did win the game, right? They won the game. Emphatically as well. But the fact of the matter, it still remains, right, that the game is being tarnished. And that's the reason why I don't watch as much as I used to watch. All of it, right across the board. I see so much that I don't. I think this should be the only place, like when you're watching sports, me personally, I believe this is the place, right, where things are supposed to be fair and level. Players spend their entire lives trying to perfect their craft so that they could express it, so that you could be in awe and you could say, ooh, wow, did you see that? and you talk about these things. Remember when this happened? To bless you with these moments, right? And when you think back to these moments, it puts a smile on your face because it was just something that was just so amazing. So then, why does the color of these people's skin, why is that the main focal point? Why does that matter so much to you? And I'm not talking about you guys in the chat, obviously, but the people that are actually doing, abusing these players. Why does that matter so much to you? Why is it not about the game itself? In America, Anthony says, in America, you can because we have freedom of speech. I learned this a tidbit of wisdom in kindergarten. I'd like you to think on goes like this: sticks and stones may break my bones, but words could never. Oh, I never heard that one before. I've never heard that one. You see, you talk about freedom of speech, right? You can't yell the B word followed by the O in a crowded movie theater because it's going to cause people to respond in a panicking way. They're going to panic, right? And then what happens is it causes chaos. So you could talk about freedom of speech, but there are consequences to the things that you say as well, good sir. Anthony. And yes, everybody's heard sticks and stones break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Right? Everybody's heard that. But let's not hide from the fact that words absolutely have power. They do. They do. We're not going to sit up here and act like they don't. If people feel like they can get away with things, right? If people feel like you could say things and they get away with it and you're saying whatever it is that you want to say to them and they're not doing anything about it, they're going to up the ante. If you don't put a stop to it, what they do is they take the next step. They take it a step further. And it's no longer just words. Then you start throwing things. And when that's not working, then they start attacking people in different ways. And they start to incite other people to join along with their bull crap. So don't hit me with that sticks and stones bull. I was about to say bullshit. I really was. But now the cat's out the bag. So don't hit me with that sticks and stones crap right now. Right? And this isn't me, like, I'm not upset with you for saying that or anything like that. But right now, for the context of what it is that I'm saying, yeah, it's crap. Right? Because yes, you have free speech. But again, you can't go in the crowded movie theater and yell B.O.M. You finish the rest of it. You can't do it. You can't do it. And then say, oh, freedom of speech. What? We all have freedom, right? We all could say the things that we want to say. Yeah. Right. We can. But in exercising that freedom to say everything that it is that you can or want to say, why should you put yourself in the position where you're just saying whatever to try to get a negative reaction or to try to hurt people or to try to get people to respond in a negative way, or because you have that freedom? So because you have that freedom, you're going to use that freedom not to try to help someone, not to try to uplift them, but to try to hurt them. That's what you use that freedom for. That's what that freedom means to you. We're all human beings. No one's holier than thou. Everyone says things, again, in the privacy of their own home, among their own friend groups. Whatever those things are, it is what it is, right? And I've said that prior, I've said that before. If this is who you are among your friends, if all of your friends are racist just like you are, and this is acceptable with your friend group, it is what it is. Discuss that with those people. The minute you decide that you're going to go into a different environment, into an environment that is supposed to be accepting of other people, into an environment that's where people are of different races expressing themselves, then it becomes a problem. There's a saying in Jamaica: dance a yard before you could dance abroad. Basically, what that means is he ain't got no home training. So those things were acceptable in his household. Maybe he grew up and he wasn't disciplined. Like, there was nobody around him to really discipline him when he got out of line. There's nobody around him to tell him, hey, listen, there's consequences to that. I wouldn't do that. So he decided that he was just going to do and say whatever, wherever, at any time. And these guys, they go to these football games and they project their insecurities, they project their hatred for themselves onto other people, because what you want to do is you feel so nasty about yourself. You're so nasty and vile. You hate yourself so much when you look in the mirror that now you want other people to feel the same hatred towards themselves. You want Lamine Yamal and these other people not to love the fact that they are who they are, because you don't love the fact that you are who you are. And because you're such an insecure little minion, you want other people to feel less than you, because then you will have the advantage in your head. If you get them to really hate themselves and look at themselves and the things that they can't change about themselves, you tell them and you make it seem as if it's the worst thing in the world, then you're kind of you're taking up space in their mind. At this point, you now have real estate in their mind. Now, every time they see themselves, they think, oh, he said I'm such and such. Why do you need to use that freedom of speech in order to sow hatred? It speaks volumes. If you're defending that sort of thing, it really, honestly, it speaks volumes. It does. So freedom of speech, yeah, cool, fine. But again, shoe was on the other foot. How would you feel? What would you say at that point? If it was you, you wouldn't be able to handle it. I guarantee you wouldn't be able to handle that shit. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself if the shoe was on the other foot. And the way that you were treating other people is the way that you're being treated. You wouldn't know what to do with yourself. You wouldn't know what to do. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. And as everyone knows that I'm not the most religious person in the world, right? But what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that if I don't want somebody to treat me that way, then it's not okay for me to treat other people that way. Freedom of speech or not. Freedom of speech or no freedom of speech. Yeah? Anthony says, you don't sound British. You don't sound European. You sound like an American where we have the First Amendment, says Anthony. He's not getting it. Okay, Anthony, you're not getting it. I'm going to stop reading your comments. You're not getting it. James says, you mean BOM? Yes, James, that's exactly what it is that we meant. I'm going to go down a little bit more. Donald Duck is in the house. Okay, I'll let you choose. Hold on one second. Oh my gosh. Donald Duck, please do not spam here with the Trump comments. Please do not do that. These are all hypothetical, says Anthony Oten. Anthony, it's not just about it being hypothetical, Anthony. I think Anthony has a fun time trolling right now. It's not about just being hypotheticals. Yes, those are hypothetical situations, but you mentioned freedom of speech. You said freedom of speech, right? And then you tried to, and then when I put a hypothetical in there, right, and I paint such a picture for you that you could actually understand what it is that I'm saying and see the consequences of you actually going into a crowded movie theater and yelling the B word, right? Now, oh, it's just hypotheticals. But then why then are you coming with the First Amendment, right? Why then are you saying, oh yeah, freedom of speech? Look, we're not against freedom of speech. Say what it is that you want to say, but accept the consequences of what comes with saying what it is that you want to say. So now when your ass get that stadium banned for life, these are the consequences. This is why. This is what happened because I decided that I was going to go into the stadium and then I was going to racially abuse players of other races. Right? So because I got the bright idea that that was a brilliant thing to do, that it just made sense for me to do that, this is the consequence. Now I can't go back to that stadium anymore. Forever. And it will always sit with me that it was because of what it is that I said, and because how I treated people, and because of the nastiness that came out of my mouth. That is the reason why I could no longer go to that stadium anymore. So I don't have anybody to blame for it. Now every time I look at myself and I see and I think about El Clasico and I think about the biggest game in Spain, now I can't go watch it in my home stadium anymore. Now whenever my team plays, I can't go watch my team play anymore. So yes, lifetime ban for you and everybody else who's involved in you. Trust me, there's more than enough people who will not come in there and racially abuse other people that are willing to sit there and watch the game without racially abusing people. Call a spade a spade. But if I'm in charge over there, trust me when I tell you, if I'm in charge of that whole rigmarole, there would be none. There'd be zero tolerance. Absolutely no tolerance from anybody of any race. It's not good for business. Not only is it not good for business, it's not good for the morale of the players. Not only is it not good for the morale of the players, it is not good for the morale of the people that are of that ethnic group or any ethnic group that are watching these things all over the world, that are looking at us and thinking, oh, damn, these are the things that are acceptable over there? It's okay for people to do that? Then what are they going to say about my ethnic group? Oh, I don't want to play there. I don't even want to go there. What message does that send? I don't think you understand how deep this goes. I think you're just looking at it from a surface level. I think this is cryptic reasoning after all. We're going to go deep. It gets deep. It's not just surface level. Oh, tongue in cheek. Oh, he just said a few things. Oh, no, that's not how these things work. It's not just surface level. It's not just tongue in cheek. Do you understand? Do you get it now? Do you realize that sponsors will pull out and decide that they're not sponsoring this anymore? Do you realize that people will stop watching? Do you realize those things? Do you realize parents will tell their kids, "Hey, look, listen, I don't want you. Look, the NBA is over here. We don't see any racism happening in the NBA. Not to say that these things don't happen in the back rooms or all that sort of stuff, but hey, you know what? Stay away from that sport. All right, we're gonna focus on this. You know what I mean? We'll get you some. We're gonna run some dribbling drills. We're gonna do some layups. We're gonna do some dunks. You know what I mean? Let's focus on this. I don't want you playing that sport. I don't want you doing that. Like there's so many consequences to these things, and it really surprises me that some people don't understand. Am I surprised? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I dare not say the word because this isn't about politics right now. Donald Duck. Donald Duck. Again, this ain't about politics right now. Free speech is the ability to say something that you do not like, says James Gorgopoulos. I don't think you guys are even learning or understanding what it is that's going on here. I don't think you guys are even trying to open your mind to learn. I think you guys just want to be ignorant. I think ignorant is just something that you want to be right now. So I'm not going to waste my time on you. I'm not. I'm going to move on to the next question. Um, Anthony says, but you are respectful, so I'm a sub. I do appreciate that. Nah, look, the only time I really get disrespectful sometimes we do get a little bit disrespectful in here, right? Sometimes we do. Sometimes I get it and I dish it back, right? It is what it is, right? Because the way how I look at it, if you're big enough to dish it out, then you should be big enough to take it as well, right? And trust me, I'm so far removed from like I don't take any of this stuff personal. Like when we're here and people are talking in the chat, Sarah, the Secretary of Defense, will just ban you, or I'll ban you, or you understand what I'm saying? Another mod will just ban somebody for saying something that's just extremely outrageous, right? But for the most part, like I'm not gonna take any of this stuff personal. Like it doesn't affect. Like I still sleep well at night. I'm not worried about any of that sort of stuff. When people come and they find me on Instagram and they yell at me and all of that sort of stuff, I just do the same thing. Like I just block you. You need help. You have to understand that you need, like, there's no way, shape, or form that you should have such intense hatred or such intense emotions toward anybody, that's on the internet that just has an opinion that's different from you. We're all gonna have difference of opinions, right? Fine, fair enough, cool. You got a different opinion, I got a different opinion. When certain people support things that I don't like, I decide, all right, I'm not gonna rock with you anymore. It is what it is. It's no hatred, no nothing. I just realized that we don't got nothing in common, and I just step back. I let you do your thing, right? So, we talk about freedom of speech and free speech and this, that, and the third. Yes. Consequences of saying certain things? Yes, there's consequences as well, right? Certain things you're just not going to say. Little Dirk knows all about free speech right now. Little Dirk had free speech. He expressed all types of free speech in his music because he was talking about the First Amendment, right? And now he's allegedly, well, not allegedly behind bars, like he is behind bars, but for some crimes that he's alleged to have committed. And what are they doing? They're breaking down the lyrics in his songs. What did they do for Young Thug? Broke down some of the lyrics in his songs. What did they do for YNW Melly? Broke down some of the lyrics in their songs. They get jammed up. When you talk about free speech, you get jammed up. Come on, man. Look, if I say something and I get on here and I say something, that's because, you know what? This is how I mean. This is what I feel like in the moment, right? So I'm going to stand behind what it is that I say because this is what, and because I believe that it's the truth and people need to hear this, then it is what it is. We're going to stand behind that. But I'm not going to get up here and I'm not going to self-snitch. I'm not going to get up here and try to get people to do, negative things toward each other. I'm not going to get up here and try to promote crime. I'm not going to get up here and try to get people to do and say negative, basically you understand what it is that I'm saying. So yeah, free speech, right? But just because you have the freedom of speech doesn't mean you need to use that freedom of speech in order to inflict negative wounds or to do negative things to other people. It just doesn't. Guys, I really need you guys to understand that. Hold on, let me God damn it. What's going on here? It's only one tab open. That's crazy. Hold on, maybe it's nope. I lost the video that I just had that I was just watching. That's crazy. Oh, here it is.
Now, football fans have a habit. I'm putting it very Madrid clash at Bernabeu. He, along with Rafinha and Ansu Fati, were targeted in their game. While Fati and Rafinha were racially abused, Yamal had to face xenophobic attacks too. This after the 17-year-old celebrated his goal in the 77th minute during Barcelona's 4-0 triumph over Madrid. That's really tough one to stomach.
These are grown men talking to a 17-year-old kid that way. These are grown men doing this. Grown men talking to a 17-year-old kid that way. Grown men. Not only that, but a 17-year-old kid that's already accomplished more things in his life in his 17 years in being alive than you have in your 50 years of being alive. This is a 17-year-old that has now helped his country to become the champions of Europe in his craft. What did you do? You didn't do nothing. You go there, you get drunk, and you racially abuse 17-year-old kids. Nasty, despicable, nasty behavior. And if I'm in charge over there, in the Spanish FA, whoever they are, lifetime ban for your punk ass. Straight up and down. Lifetime ban. Lifetime ban. Because you guys, you need to know that there are consequences to the things that you're doing. You need to know that. But you're 50 and you don't understand that there's consequences to the things that you're doing. So, all right, cool. Come here, Mr. 50-year-old. Here you go. Lifetime ban. Now you can't go back for the next, 20, 30, 40, how much ever years you got left. Now you can't go and watch any more of these live games. Right? Oh, you're over there. You're involved too? Boom, lifetime ban. Trust me when I tell you those seats will be filled tomorrow. Trust me when I tell you that. So yeah, you can sit at home now and yell those things at your TV now. Sit at home and yell it at your TV. That sort of behavior is not for the public. There's a reason why people aren't walking around naked in public. So if those things are acceptable in your own home, if those things are acceptable with your friends, it is what it is. Cool. But here, in this stadium, in this establishment, something that we're broadcasting around the world, it's not acceptable. Lifetime ban. Lifetime ban. You can't go to the stadium anymore because you chose, right? You consciously decided that you were going to racially abuse the kid. Not only that, but this one guy got up and went right to the front and decided that he was right when Lamine Yamal was like taking a corner or something like that. This is after he scored and everything. And he was going to go walk right up to him, right? Close as you could possibly get without jumping over to yell racially explicit things to the 17-year-old. And what did he do? He just looked at him, put his hand on it, and just laughed at him. He just put his hands on his waist, looked at you, and just laughed. A 17-year-old that's showing you, right, that he has more emotional control than you do. That he's more of a man than you are. God damn. And I'm sure he's shameless. I'm sure he doesn't see it that way. I'm sure he thinks he's right for doing what he did. I'm sure a 17-year-old perfecting his craft and playing sports that got you this riled up, I'm sure you feel good about what it is that you did and you said. But if I was in charge of the Spanish FA, trust me and tell you, these things would be of the past. These things wouldn't be happening. They would not be happening. It's a worldwide sport. People all over the world want to watch it and enjoy it. When you're playing these sports, it shouldn't be a reminder of how divided the world is based on people's race, based on people's gender, based on people's orientation. When people put on those jerseys and they get out there and they play and they get out there and they express themselves, it's about uniting the world. It's something that people could come together and share memories, right? People of all different colors, all over the world can get together and they can enjoy themselves together and have fun together. That's the way how I see it. And that's the way it should be. Anyway, just decided I was gonna do this live. I do have some things that I need to do today, so this is again. I'm off today. I do believe I'm gonna go make a little run, and then I'm gonna come back and yeah. As a matter of fact, I don't know. Maybe I should do these things outside. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna stay home today. But yeah, I do got some things that I need to get done on this computer, so I'm not gonna be too much longer. But let me see what else you guys have to say before I go. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, by the way. I do appreciate all that. Let's see. Hello from Lithuania. Big up to Lithuania. If you are kicked out of a private owned business, that's the right of the business owner, says James. Being racist, but still have freedom to say it. I agree. Okay, James. What is this about? Keep coming across my feed. MAGA, says Lucas. Basically, Yamal is a baller. Whoever Garnacho is a big baller. If you don't like it, cry. Garnacho ain't nothing compared to Lamine Yamal. In terms of a baller, I'm sorry. Lamine Yamal is 17 and he's already accomplished way more than Garnacho has at Manchester United. So I don't even understand why you're comparing the two. Did he score this one wonder goal before? Yes, he has. But yeah, Garnacho's not that guy. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, it's not. He says, football is the best sport in the world. Donald Duck approves. I mean, in a happy way. I'm asking if anyone knows how any ice hockey players 89 out of 100. No, I don't know any ice hockey players at all. A name that comes to mind is Gretzky. This is a name that people kind of used to throw around back in the day. I don't know if he still plays anymore. Not even. He probably doesn't still play. I think he's probably like from the 80s or 90s or something like that, or 60s. I don't know. No, I don't. Prime Anthony or Prime Mudrick. I don't think either of those players have had a prime. But no, actually, Prime Anthony was probably at Ajax. And at Ajax he was. Wow, I didn't even know you could do that. At Ajax, I heard he was good, but I never seen him play. He said he retired in 1999, but still are correct. Yeah, 1999 is that's over 20 some odd years ago. Wow. Who did you vote for? I voted for Kamala Harris. I'm sorry. Love the ball now, it says Donald Duck. Let's make some money, says James Gorgopoulos. Yes, James. We're definitely going to make some money. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tapping in again. Maybe I'll be on again later on for another stream later on at night. But I'm going to go get my day started. I got a whole lot to learn. I think there's a few things that I need to do before. I think there's a few things I need to do as well. But yeah, I got a bunch of stuff to do today. So, God damn it, I don't even know where to start. Anyway, guys, take care. I might be back later on. Bye bye. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.